Okay, so we have tried multiple different approaches on relieving gas here on this channel, but today we are aiming for something a little bit more specific. So today we are focusing on opening up through the hips and the pelvic region. So your hips don't actually trap gas inside of you, but your pelvic floor and your pelvis, those muscles do play a role in your elimination, let's say. So the more comfortable and relaxed we can allow those muscles to be, the more natural you should be able to release. So today's practice for this gas bloat relief is focused on finding mobility, a little bit of stretch, and some opening in the hips and the pelvis. So this may not magically make you fart, but let's see, this is kind of like a little experiment. Let's see if focusing on opening the hips can help you relieve some of that gas. So if you're feeling tight, bloated, uncomfortable, try this with me. Let's see what happens. You may also want to grab a yoga block or two. Thanks for stopping by. So settling in today into a little easy seat, simply take a breath or two and just notice how you feel. Consciously try to relax and soften your jaw, your forehead, your stomach, your shoulders, whatever feels a little tense. Take a breath in and let it all go. We are starting with some hip circles, so adjust however you feel comfortable, right? We want to give ourselves a room to expand. So you can let your hands float to the knees as we just start opening the hips. So finding little circles. And as we open through the hips, you may find that more dynamic movements might help stir things along a little better. But find what works for you. And remember, even if it doesn't work during this practice, it may help you after, if you know what I mean. All right. Getting that spinal fluid warmed up, hips a little bit looser. Okay. And now we're coming into a little deer pose. So from your easy seat, take your right leg and just kind of curl it behind you. Now, find the position that works for you, right? We're all about opening up and releasing through here. We don't give a crap really what we look like. This is not about alignment. Okay, so now my spiel's over. So just both of your legs bent, maybe your leg out a little further in towards the hips, sitting up nice and tall, not forcing anything, just allowing yourself room to breathe, room to be. Maybe finding a tiny little twist over that left knee, nothing huge. See if you can relax a little bit of tension in the hips, because this may be kind of a weird position for you. So see if you're holding any tension anywhere and try to release. And if you want to kind of twist on the exhale, come back on the inhale. Make this practice your own. And then keeping that left knee right where it's at. We're sweeping this right leg back out, but extending it. So coming into like a half straddle or half bound angle, whatever you want to call this. So foot flexed. Again, we don't care about how straight your knee is. Inhale. Fill the lungs with air. Exhale, settle that booty down into the mat. Staying here if this feels good to you, or maybe we want to creep the fingertips forward, kind of find a little bit of a forward fold. Remember, the compression helps, especially if you're wearing like tight pants like I am. So just holding here for a few breaths. Nice, easy breathing. Take your awareness to the hips. Notice what's going on down there, maybe in your belly. And then carefully coming back up and taking deer pose on the other side. So bending that right knee in, swinging that left knee behind you. A lot of times I find deer pose feels way different on both sides. So take a moment, see if one side feels a little different than the other. Just for knowledge of your own body, for connection. Not because it actually matters. We don't need to be symmetrical. Welcoming any extra movements as well as any extra noises. This is not a pretty contest. It is about hopefully making yourself feel a little bit better. It's all about giving yourself that space and that comfort within yourself to give you that space. And extending the left leg, coming into your half straddle. Take a moment, settle in. Remembering to breathe throughout this whole practice. Your breath is your friend, it is your tool. One more big breath in. And exhale, gently walk the fingertips back up. Tucking that left leg in, we are coming onto all fours. Middle of the mat, tabletop position. Spreading wide, really grip through those fingers. Find your neutral spine, then press down through the left top of the foot, grip with the fingers, connect to the core, raise the right knee, and draw circles. If you want to start a little bit slower, notice what's happening there, and if you want to go a little bit larger, drawing big circles with the knee. I'm hearing a lot of cracks and creaks, so if you are too, I'm pretty sure that's normal. Loosening everything up. Sorry, I did not mean to whistle. All right, find one more circle. And then we're going to extend this right leg out and find a cat-cow, but we're involving this right leg. So with your leg extended, inhale, drop the belly, raise the chest, and exhale, round through the spine. Really draw the navel in, expel all the air out. Inhale. Send your awareness to the pelvis. Really try to tilt through the pelvis. If you want to make these cat-cows smaller and really just focus on moving the pelvis back and forth, be my guest. Coming back to the breath, finding a few more rounds. And then drawing that right leg in, switching sides. Reposition, ground through that right foot. Pick up the left and find your circles. Opening up through the hips a lot of times releases a lot of stress and emotions that we store in the body. So that also may help you relax a little bit more. Calming the nervous system down does wonders, especially for the digestive tract. All right. Once you feel nice and open in that left hip, extend the left leg long and find your cat-cow. Finding rhythm within your body. Just noticing what's going on. No pressure, no force. All right. We meet back in our tabletop. Beautiful. And then we step this right foot up into a low lunge. So you might want to scoot your left knee out a tiny bit, give yourself a little bit more space. And this is your choice. You can have a static low lunge. Really focus on sending the hips down, relaxing the belly. Let it be big, let it be full, let it do its thing. Or you can kind of pulse back and forth. Like I said, whatever feels more beneficial to you. Breathing nice and deep into the pelvis. See, we're finding strength here, as well as mobility. And when you're ready, on your next exhale, we're going to shift the hips back into a big half split. So we may want to block here on either side. My recommendation for this is to shift back and forth very lightly to really compress the belly, get those hips moving. And like I said, this is kind of just an experiment to see. And holding your half split for a few breaths. See where you can soften here. And then planting that right foot down, we're coming into a lizard pose. So tucking the back toes, lifting the left knee, walk that right foot out to the edge of the mat. We can come onto fingertips, onto hands, onto blocks, onto forearms. So many options. But we are focusing on opening up through the hip. If we want to rock back on the toes. Breathing nice and deep. If you find yourself holding your breath at all, it's okay. Just bring it back a little bit. That's all. We want to be able to breathe Gripping through the fingers, hold those hips up. One last breath. And then carefully lower yourself down to pigeon. So heel toe that foot to the other side of the mat. Carefully release yourself down. And once you find your position here, this is a fantastic opportunity for a forward fold. So if you walk the fingertips out, let that belly become heavy, let it hang down into your legs, into the mat. Maybe let your head hang, soften your shoulders, and just breathe here. Big inhale in through the nose. And on your exhale, wiggle out the hips a little, soften them. Coming back up slowly, gently, we meet back in tabletop. Coming into a low lunge on the other side, repeating this little sequence. So stepping the left foot up, finding your position here. Remember, the breath is your friend. When I first started taking yoga classes, I was so embarrassed to be breathing so loudly. It took me, I would say, probably at least a year or two to really become comfortable with the sound of my breath and that it was a normal thing. So that's why I urge you to breathe. Even if people around you can hear it, who cares? Nice, big, full body breath. Trying to keep the hips square. And then making your transition into half splits. If you're doing your little half split, low lunge flow. And honestly, if nothing happens during this practice that we were hoping for, you know what I mean? At least we got a nice opening of the hips. Because man, is this feeling good. Take a moment in your half split. Inhale and exhale, soften. And transitioning into our lizard. Things can happen in the middle of movement. They can sneak up on you, they can surprise you. But we're grateful for them all. So finding your lizard pose. Reaching that right heel back. Rocking back and forth. And releasing down into your pigeon when you're ready. Now this is your chance to rest a little bit. Breathe in. And as you exhale, begin to walk the fingertips forward, finding your body's natural stopping place. letting everything become heavy and slowly melt towards the mat. Noticing any sensations. Always coming back to the breath. Nice big breath in through the nose, and on this exhale, see where you can soften, especially through the hips. Give that little wiggle. Maybe you can let it out here. Boop. That would be kind of cute. And when you're ready, gently pressing back up, we are meeting in, drumroll please, my favorite position. If you've been with me for a while, by now you know this is Malasana, or any sort of deep squat, especially for these types of situations. Elimination posture is a go. So especially for this hip opening practice, I would recommend, again, the option is yours, to find some movement if you can, whether that's like moving one knee, rocking back up on your balls of your feet, lifting the hips. This is one of our last movements here, so if you got something else to give it all you got. And then perhaps put your hands together at heart center. Find a moment to let the elbows rest on the inner knees. Close the eyes and find a breath of gratitude for this body and everything it does for you. And then find a breath of love for yourself for showing up today. And then on your next exhale, consciously release the pelvis. Stay here for another breath or two. Notice the natural rhythm of your breath. And then carefully drop down onto the back. Feet planted underneath the hips, preparing for a few bridge lifts. So tuck those shoulder blades underneath the back, palms down beside you on the mat. Big breath, inhale. And on the exhale, squeeze and lift the pelvis. Inhale to lower. Exhale, squeeze. And by squeeze, inhale, lower. We're going to do 5 of these. Exhale. By squeeze, I don't mean squeeze anything out. I mean squeeze the hips up to the ceiling. If something else squeezes out too, perfectly fine, but like I said, no force. Last one, big breath, squeeze, hold. And relax, hug the knees into the chest. Maybe find a few little circles here. Giving your lower back a little love. Finding anything else you may need today before we take our supine twist. Letting both of these knees gently fall to the left side. Maybe gazing over the right shoulder. yourself fully relax here. Noticing each inhale and exhale as they naturally are. And slowly rolling back onto the back, hugging the knees back into the chest, and taking your twist to the other side. Slowing the body down. Giving your intestines a slight and gentle wringing out. One last big breath in and out. Coming back onto the back, keeping the knees up towards the ceiling. Let them both open, pressing the soles together, reclined bound angle. Using this hip opener as our last position for this practice, you can take your hands to the belly, to the heart, to the thighs. So simply a few moments to connect back in. Maybe notice any changes you feel. Or give yourself a few seconds to breathe and just be, with no agenda. And there we have it. Today we specifically focused on the hips and the pelvis, opening both of those areas to see if that helps us relieve gas instead of just throwing every single gas-related posture that's supposed to help at you. So I'm very curious to see if this helped. Did you feel any different? Did it help you relieve anything? Did it not? Because as always, I love having your feedback. I love knowing how you guys experience these practices, specifically what postures and things help you. So please give me some feedback below. And remember, if you are constantly, chronically suffering from indigestion and a really backed up, bloated gassiness, I would please urge you to consult with a doctor or a physician. I am not a medical professional. These are just more for those moments when you feel extra bloated, and I have a few postures that I think can help, but I am not a medical professional, so this is all I got for you. But I hope it gave you something new to try, and I will see you next time.